funny thing is this. Even me out. How you gon' flee the scene? Said this got the perfect bounce. Let's take it to the house. He said my eyes are hypno, so much so that his heart go. And even though he don't know, I feel concealed intensity. He touched my hand so softly, I blushed and pushed his off me. It's getting harder and harder. It feels so sweet.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy KlueDaMFDon with another episode of Country Fan Mail Podcast. And I appreciate y'all coming back. I appreciate y'all fucking with me. My numbers have been going the fuck up, so I appreciate y'all. Everybody that's been listening to me, all the feedback, all the positive energy that's been coming my way, and all the negative energy. I don't know if there really is any, but if there is some, I welcome it all. But with that being said, I have a very, very special guest coming to the show. People have been hitting me up for a minute. They were just like, yo, like, we love your show, but we need to see more ladies because the women are out there making noise in the industry as they always have. And I have one of the most recent, I think, dopest, is that the word? Dopest up and coming Charlotte artists in the game. Go ahead and introduce her in. And I should have asked this before we even started this stream because I don't want to butcher her name. I know her first name because my sister's name Makeda as well, but her last name is Makeda Iroquois. Is that it?
It is. It's, you said it right the first time. The S is silent and everything else is pronounced how it looks.
Awesome. I'm so glad I did because I literally was sitting there for like 30 minutes, like Iroquois.
It's really, it looks intimidating, but it's really straightforward. A lot of Native American language is straightforward like that. You can see a lot of the names in America are native names, but it's, you can read it. You can read it out.
I like that. So, and because sometimes it could be spelled with the X at the end, correct? Or is that?
I haven't seen it spelled with an X. You might be thinking of another tribe. There is a tribe that has it. There's probably quite a few tribes that have an X, but I think the most famous one is the Sioux tribe, and it is spelled with an X.
Got you. Okay, all right, there. That's a little TED Talk with Clue and Makeda. But anyways, go ahead.
It is Makeda Iroquois.
Makeda.
I know I have met some Makedas. They spell it the same way.
Got you.
And I know that some people pronounce, so it's confusing, but the way that I pronounce it is Makeda.
I'm so glad you told me that. I'm gonna have to really work on that because, like I said, my sister is Makeda, so it's really I'm gonna try my best. Right. But yeah, either way, I really love the name. I love the origins of the. I mean, regardless of how you look at it, Queen Makeda or Makeda. I don't know. I'm not even sure if it was pronounced Makeda actually or not.
I believe because Makeda is Ethiopia region.
Got you.
So
makes sense.
They pronounce it Makeda. So that's how I've heard some East African languages pronounce it. But we over here, like these are names, and it's like we pronounce them how we pronounce them, But to know the origin is good too, and I think that some East African regions pronounce it Makeda.
Okay, all right, good. I learn something new every day. I really appreciate you telling me that. So I got to start off by saying, we have a little bit of interference. I think that sounds a little bit better. All right, cool. So yeah, want to appreciate you for coming on to the show first and foremost. Ever since I was put onto your music, really extremely dope artist, very, very talented, amazing voice, like for real. Already. And the first question that I asked everybody when they come on to the show, what was the first song that you listened to when you woke up this morning?
The first song that I listened to when what?
When you woke up this morning.
Oh, I can't hear it. It's messing up.
Yeah, we're having a little interference. Let me see. Let me try something really fast.
Okay.
Let's see. Is that better?
It's still doing it.
Yeah, it's still doing it.
rejoin?
I'm sorry.
You want me to rejoin?
Yeah, if you can if you try to rejoin.
Okay, let me do that.
Everybody, please be patient. We'll be right back.
Hello?
I think we're good.
Yes. That's
All right,
way
much better,
better.
much better. Awesome,
Okay.
awesome. All right, let's go ahead and rock it out. So yes, yes. So what I asked, yes, what was the first song that you listened to when you woke up this morning?
When I woke up, I didn't listen to any music.
Okay.
Now, there was a point in time a couple years ago where I stopped listening to music. It sounds very weird.
You're gonna have to expound on that one,
It
please.
sounds very weird, but it it was a little bit of a mixture between personal emotional stuff and having being uninspired.
Mm.
And I just didn't
Uninspired to make music, or uninspired just
yeah.
in general. Got you.
Well, yeah, in general, but also by way of that, uninspired to make music. So I don't know I don't know what made me not, because if I'm not enthused about doing something, or I feel like I'm not going to get anything out of it, I don't even bother. And I
Mm.
just wasn't in a space where I was thinking, oh, I want to listen to this or I want to listen to that. I just was going about my day to day and going to work and just doing other things. And music just, it was very weird because I love music,
Yeah.
but I just wasn't. And then it became a thing where, I did start creating again, and I would hear about new music, but
Mm.
I wasn't impressed. I didn't really want to listen to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the
So,
toughest part about being a creative at any is seeing the people in your realm that you just dark. You're just like, that's not good, but but people are buying into it. You
and
know
that's
what I'm saying?
no disrespect to anybody, because, I'm not talking about any one artist or
Yeah, not
anything.
anyway. Yeah, for sure.
But it was, it could have been great artists out at that time, and I just didn't relate to the creative space.
Mm.
So when I
Mm.
don't relate to something, I just do away with it altogether. And I
Okay.
think that that's what it was. It was kind of like I just didn't relate to. Now I can see the creativity in a lot of things that I wouldn't have before, because I'm just in a creative space of, you know relating to more of the creative side of everything. And then I
Okay.
can enjoy it. If I can do that, I can find a way to enjoy it. But I wasn't in that space for a minute. And
So what
it's
were you doing
taking a
in
minute for
instead?
me to get back into listening to music. So there sometimes I don't listen to music.
So what do you do instead? Like what do you what do you find yourself doing as a, I guess, kind of a filler? Because I feel like a lot of times people listen to music and while they're cleaning, while they're driving, while they're doing other things. So yeah, what do you find yourself doing?
Sleep.
You looked a
And I'm
little
so
hesitant to
serious.
admit that.
I'm so serious. It's not no philosophical sleep.
She's like, it's not that deep. I just like to sleep.
Sleep, or being in the studio making something.
Okay.
For
Okay. I
sure.
got you. I got you. That
Yeah.
okay. So when you say sleep, like, are you the type of person that if you don't get your 8 hours, you just you ain't with it that day?
Um, kind of, but more like internally. I would never, like, I still,
Got you.
like, when I go to work, I still do what I got to do, but I'm gonna be dog tired inside. So
And
I don't
especially what
like
you
to do
do,
that.
because I can't imagine you going into that. You know, I don't know if you want to get into that, but I can't imagine you going into that occupation showing your
I
your
mean,
exhaustion. You know what I'm saying?
so I've been making music for a long time, but I am still in a space of um cultivating that revenue from making music.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had a myriad of jobs,
For sure.
and my two most recent jobs were the Apple Store. I worked at the Apple Store for 3 years, and that's how I moved to New York because I was able to transfer. But after I left the
That's dope.
Apple Store, yeah, it was really dope. Shout out to Apple for that. Um, After I left Apple because it was time, it was getting to be a lot. I started working at TuneCore,
Okay.
and for those who don't know, TuneCore is a streaming platform. Well, a streaming distribution platform, subscription based platform for artists to distribute their music on streaming services. So it's like DistroKid.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's what it sounds like. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So
How was that? That sounds pretty dope.
it wasn't the best experience. It really wasn't the best experience. And you know, without getting into detail, they really didn't treat their employees with um let me say, they didn't give their employees the best support
Mm.
for what they were asking of their employees, in my opinion. And you know, there was the infrastructure of the department that I worked in. It was very, they cut a lot of corners, and they didn't like to take accountability for that.
Got you.
Um, so needless to
Got you.
say, I ended up separating from TuneCore at the top of the pandemic. Um, and
Mm.
then ever since then, I was just cashing out like everybody
Word.
else because they just fired me. So I'm getting unemployment and I'm
Yeah.
getting the extra.
You
I
have to do what you
definitely,
got to
you
do
know.
for sure.
So I got a taste of what I want my career to be like.
You just being able to pretty much freely
Be creative,
create.
pull up to the studio at all hours that it can, just, you know what I'm saying? So
And how was that? How was in that time? Like, how was it? Was there a lot of competition? Like, were there a lot of other people on that wave?
I never really experienced a competition type of environment.
Good.
Uh
Okay.
Not to say that nobody can compete. That's not what I'm saying, but I just never
Ain't
was
nobody
in a
fucking with me. I was like, go
space. I just never was in a space that like I would see that or think about that. So it really was more about what the fuck am I gonna do right now? Because it's a pandemic, it's a lockdown. We out here, we good, we low key got bread, and I was getting a lot of grants for my music. That was the first
word.
time that, you know, like the Grammys did a pandemic assistance thing, and a couple of artist foundations, Artist Relief. Shout out to Grammy, Music Cares, and Artist Relief, and a few other organizations that really were.
Oh, you're breaking out just a little bit. And I think she popped out. Still having some issues hearing me.
Hello.
Hello, you there? You want to try to come out and come back in again? You want to try to leave and come back again? Like international languages, I don't know too many other languages, but I do know certain things, what I'm saying. Leave and come back. Trying to smoke. Come here. Not so come here, but come here, you know what I'm saying? There's a few of them. Oh man, but yeah, shout out to all those organizations that she was talking about. I never knew that. I never knew that there were so many dope organizations, big organizations like the Grammys that are, having those grants and stuff going out to the folk. So definitely shout out to that. I know that there was a lot of people, having that were on that grind during the pandemic, out there trying to do their thing the best way that they could and that they can. And I'm glad people were able to take advantage of it for real, because shit, somebody had to do it, you know what I'm saying? And I think we got it back. Let's see.
We back?
We good. We good. We back.
Okay. Oh my God. Listen.
It's all good. We work it out.
The devil is busy.
Hey, what did Denzel say? The greatest accomplishments, the devil go come.
Yes, yo. We all know how that go. But anyway,
oh man. Yeah.
I guess what I was saying before that whole situation that happened with somebody calling me. I was gonna say, being in that space to have 24/7 access to being creative and no other obligations but to be creative, that is a pocket that we definitely were able to experience, me and a couple of other artists that I know. And it was more about, that's what I was going to say. It wasn't any kind of competition thing, because it was more about like, yo, this is my opportunity to take it to the next level. Like, I don't even care what nobody else got going on, because it don't matter. Like, yeah. I'm setting up the plays for myself. I'm loving the time that I have to myself, just getting to enjoy that. And it's kind of like, it didn't really matter what anybody else was doing, because it was such an exciting time to be free.
Getting to your own.
Yeah, to be, because let me tell you something, New York it's a nasty grind.
I can imagine. Like, that's a consistent that I've heard about New York, is that it's
it ain't no joke. It ain't no joke. And coming from Charlotte, where everything is chill, it's like New York, I needed a break. And it was so crazy because it just happened like shut down.
And it's crazy. Wow. I can imagine. It's like it's crazy. It's wild because being from Charlotte myself as well. It's like everybody. I knew so many people that were moving from New York down to Charlotte. There were so many people that were just moving down to Charlotte, but then I know so many people from North Carolina that move up to New York. They trying to get, they trying to get a little different bit of a feel. And it's like, I mean, me, I'm moving to the West Coast and whatnot. So it's like, I lost my train of thought. I forgot what I was about to ask. Let me run it back.
About New York being crazy and coming from Charlotte to that environment where everything is just like,
everything is just so fast. Yeah, so that was gonna be my next question. When it came to actually being in your process, and it's like I said, being from Charlotte, where things just, we just, for a long time, we were just a very small mecca. Like, people, you didn't know about Charlotte unless you was in Charlotte or you've been through Charlotte. And then even if you had been through Charlotte, you was probably only there for CIAA weekend, so you never really experienced Charlotte. Right. So, but moving to New York, did it take you a long time to kind of get into that groove space where you were you felt like you were keeping up, or did you ever get to that space?
I never got there.
Got you.
That's a lie. The pandemic, but even then, it didn't feel like I had like caught, because I was jumping from when the pandemic happened. I was trying to find somewhere else to live, and I was trying to figure out how to transport all of my things here, like storage units and all kinds of stuff. So we were dealing with a lot. Me and my peers that were in New York that we moved together. Yeah. We were kind of like staying close to help each other.
Kind of like a community, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so it's like it never got there because it was just so much to do and so exhausting, and not being used to that. It was a lot. I couldn't even be creative, and that's why it took me so long to create anything new to put out.
Because it was about 6 years. 6 years. You said 6 or 7 years, right?
Since my last album, it was probably 9. It took me 7 years to do the project that I just released.
Demo, correct?
Right.
Gotcha.
So I had been working on that project for 7 years, but I had not made music for maybe like 1.5, 2 years before I started digging into whatever demo was gonna be.
And that was the Red Reserve, correct?
Yeah.
So okay, so and it's crazy because I'm listening to these 2 different projects, right? Because I definitely I studied them, and when you hear the difference between these 2 projects, and then you even throw in something like New Earth, you're just like, yo, she could do everything. Because New Earth, it was, for one, I gotta talk on that before we even get to demo. New Earth, honestly, the first time I heard it, and I think I tweeted it, and somebody was like, yo, that's like the craziest comparison, but I think I understand what you're saying. But I was like, when I hear New Earth, I compared it to Logic Fade Away. I don't know if you've heard that song by Logic.
I've heard that song.
But it has kind of like the whole premise of the album is kind of like, you know, it's in the future. You have these people that are in this excursion to find a new world to live on and to cultivate.
Yeah, that's the same thing.
Exactly. So it had that vibe, even though it's rap versus R&B, or, you know, so would you consider yourself an R&B artist, actually? That's actually a really good question.
I've had this conversation with people before, and I'm grateful for those conversations because it prepares me for questions like this. And what I would have said in those other conversations is that I don't really, the stuff that I have put out is R&B hip hop. That is the stuff that I have put out. I feel like New Earth is like a soul. I didn't put this in the genre publicly, but I feel as though New Earth is gospel, but in a Roy Ayers, Earth, Wind, and Fire type of way. Because I
see what you're saying.
Made gospel too.
I see exactly what you're saying. Yeah, yeah. So the genre itself doesn't necessarily have to be about Christianity. It could just be.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like, you know, with all of those things happening, I don't really put, because I don't know if you've heard any of my stuff prior to the Red Reserve.
Prior to the Red Reserve, I'm not sure actually. I don't think I went before the Red Reserve. There's a few other joints, and there's actually something else that I have in the pocket that I'm gonna play that I was so surprised when I stumbled upon. But yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Okay.
Well, there's like my first maybe 4 albums are really like versatile.
Got you.
So my first 2 projects that I dropped was like really hip hop. Like I was singing, but I was really rapping. Like I was rapping, but I'm not a rapper. So I sang it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what, and they were over like hip hop samples that I just like got off of YouTube. And if it didn't have an instrumental, I would make the instrumental. Shout out to all the garage band engineers, because
shout out to the garage band.
Garage band is very user friendly. Shout out to Apple once again. I just started like piecing together parts of songs that didn't have an instrumental, and I would just make one.
You know, and I think you got really, really good at that, and you actually were really, really good at rapping. So before you continue, before we move on to when you moved off from rapping, I do want to play this track because I was so surprised to hear it, and I was very happy to hear it, and it was almost like a prophecy, honestly, to what the hell is going on right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this real quick. Let me know what y'all think, y'all.
I got anger issues. My room is full of snotty tissues and tear-filled pillows and anger issues. Of course I miss you, but that ain't the issue. Cause I'm pissed and it ain't you. Nah, it ain't you, it's the studio. Cause I don't got my own and I don't got the dope. But I hit
the studio. And they fucked me up, you know. Got me fucked up, you know. Hey, yo, I don't want no handouts. I'm ready to band out. But everybody want me to relax. Finish up a motherfucking track. Well, I want some stew time and a bit of shoe shine and a 2 terabyte and a copperhead mic. I'm tired of asking. I don't wanna be mean, but I gotta take things. I don't wanna be mean, but none of y'all respect me.
So listen, I'm trying to tell you, there was a few things that you put in the trap, because if I saw right, you put that out about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, when you're listening to the lyrics of that song, almost if you're writing as if you were Kanye, that is literally what that man is going through right now. So it's kind of like, did you see the future? Could you tell that Kim was gonna divorce him?
Yo, I wasn't thinking about none of that.
That's
I
wild.
wasn't thinking about none. And it's funny that you say that, because there is even more of a prophecy that I'm not sure if a lot of people know it. I was blowing it up when it happened on Twitter and Instagram. My friends was blowing it up. But for those who don't know, I wrote and produced Kanye Slander maybe like 2015. And I didn't record it and drop it until 2018. So the way that I found the way that I created Kanye Slander is that Kanye dropped Pablo. We all remember
Life of Pablo, yep.
We remember 30 Hours, Madlib, you know.
Yep.
Madlib did a Red Bull interview and he spoke about how he made that beat. And he was talking about how he made it on an iPad. And I was watching the interview and I was like, yo, it's time. I got to start producing. I can do it on an iPad. I'm about to download this $10 app. $10 in 2015. Got the app.
Probably ain't $10 no more.
Yeah. So I had this sample that I really loved from like this Netflix movie, and I Shazammed it and I was like, yo, this is hard. I got to do something with this one day. So I ended up chopping that sample up and made the beat. I had somebody put some drums on it, Kirk Collins. I had Kirk put drums on it, and I called it Kanye Slander. And I dropped it on Kanye's birthday, trying to play it up on Twitter and tagging. He didn't have a Twitter at this time.
Got you.
So I was just trying to like play it up and make it go viral or something. It didn't go viral. But next year, the very next year, around the same time. So that was June 2018, I dropped it. Next year, summer 2019, Kanye drops a project with Nas, and there's a song called Adam and Eve on it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just leave it there. Everybody go listen to Adam and Eve on Nas.
Okay, now because now you got my wheels turning, because got my wheels
now
turning.
There's a bar, mind you. I dropped that in 2018, and they dropped that in 2019. I have a bar in Kanye Slander. Celebrities is taking shit from me, but I gave you everything and niggas still don't love me. I wasn't thinking about none of this Kanye shit. I was just saying, yo, I fuck with Kanye. Fuck what y'all talking about. Y'all hating on Kanye.
So you consider this more of a prophecy than a copyright-ish?
I ain't calling it nothing but what it is. I ain't calling it nothing. I gave y'all the information. Y'all take it as y'all may.
I respect that. I really respect that, because that's a big one. But you know, not to stick too much on. I'm gonna say this and we can move on. But T-Pain said the same shit. So if T-Pain can say it's a pretty credible person, you know, I'll just leave it at there. But anyways, so moving into this demo project. I really, one thing I really loved about this project, which honestly I haven't seen people do in a long time, at least not nobody that's not from Houston, is to drop a project and then to follow it up with a chopped and screw or chopped not slop project, which so I was taking a drive down to Modesto, which is like an hour and some change where I'm from, and I was just blasting the album. And of course, you know, you play it down and then it goes to the next album. So when the Child Is Not Slapped part came out, like it was really like I was literally in like a daze because it was like
Wow.
listening to a completely different album, but it was the
Right
same damn
into it.
thing. So like what kind of what coerced you to do that, to drop those two separate projects?
Um, Everybody take a look at the credits on demo. There's some really, really, really dope people credited as, you know, executive production, sound design, mixing, mastering. Um, and I have some friends who connected me to Chop Stars, because you know Chop Stars is a crew now. And they've got like some really talented DJs that are like chopping and screwing. And one of the DJs that I met through one of my good friends, DJ Syrup. DJ Syrup has showed my music so much love. Like anytime I drop something, he's like, please send it to me. I want to chop, not slop it. And I'm like, bruh, like you wanna chop and not slop my shit? Like that's dope. So
Yeah, it's like people really fucking with you.
Yeah, like anytime he asks me for some newness that I dropped, I hand it right off and let him do his thing because he's fire with it.
Word.
His aesthetic is crazy, his drop is crazy. And he really does his thing. He really hears a pocket, especially with my music. And I love when people are inspired to make something new out of what I've done already.
Yeah.
I haven't experienced that a lot, but when people like DJ Syrup really rock with me on that, I love it.
And how does that support come from, or how does it feel more? Well, let me ask the question better. How do you feel like your local support system is, you know what I'm saying, being a Charlotte artist? Because I feel like there was a long time where Charlotte was not known until recently to actually have a music scene. I mean, and recently, when I say, even if you go back 10 years, that's still very recent in the comparison to as much as everybody else has kind of had their bag. And I think 10 years might still be too far. Yeah. So it's like, you know, so how is your local support in the city?
First of all, the Charlotte community, of creators is so on point. Like, especially amazing now that, because we've all been doing it so long and we were all young when we met each other and when we started doing what we're doing. And now we're older and now we've learned things and we left and we came back. So at this present time, I get so much support from my fellow creatives in Charlotte. Like,
that's beautiful.
I know so many creative, dope people that really support me. And that is kind of new for me because all of us weren't always in a position to support the way that we are now. Like, you know, having resources and just things like that. Skinny J being one of those people. You know, like, I remember Skinny was telling me that he'd been here. He just was shy. So it's like
Skinny been around. Yeah, he been around.
Yeah, we just all had to grow, and it just shows me where people's heart and where people's vision really is, because it's not always about oh, well, such and such don't support me, or these people, or nobody supports me, or whatever. It just might be that the people who want to support you haven't grown into how to support you, or just
being in a position
out there.
Yeah.
So now that we're older and everybody's back in the city and things are popping in the city, I feel like there's a really strong support system that's building. It's not perfect,
for sure,
but it's definitely building quickly.
Got you. Okay, that's beautiful. That's really dope, and I love to hear it. Honestly, I really love to hear it, especially like, you know, I see so many people that, you know, I came up with, that I went to school with, you know, regardless if we were cool, close, whatever, but still people that, you know, all the, you know, in that age group that we're really all, we're doing our thing, you know what I'm saying? We're at that point where it's like, damn, we're old, but we're not too old. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really crazy, you know what I'm saying, to look at somebody like a 20-year-old.
Like, you never been here before.
It's wild. It's a completely new space, but you know, it's really dope. I love seeing you know, especially so many people that I didn't know had the talents that they have, and
Yeah,
it's a beautiful thing. It's
it
really truly a
is.
beautiful sight. So what would be, I guess, in your journey as far as making music, between being in Charlotte, being in New York, and doing any type of shows or anything, what would be probably one of your most memorable moments while you were making music?
Hmm. Okay, because you said one of, that makes it a little easier, so I don't gotta feel like I gotta
No
pick
pressure,
the
no
most,
pressure.
because I don't think there's like the most. I think there's a few. I always say this. 2012, locking in with Sky U and Third Eye Awake. And for real Charlotte people who've been in the Charlotte scene, y'all know Third Eye, Third Eye Kids, and Sky University. So I had went to college and graduated from Harding, went to college at UNC
Okay, you went to
Greensboro.
Harding. Okay.
Yeah,
What
I
what
went
what
to
class were
Harding.
you?
09.
Okay, so you probably knew some of my family. I had family over there. Okay, got you.
Oh, okay,
We're the
okay.
same class. Got you.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I went to Harding, graduated from Harding, and then I went to UNC Greensboro. So my first senior year, because I was a super senior, I did a bid twice,
Hey,
but that's okay.
what I'm saying? You gotta do what you gotta do.
I
You
did
gotta
it.
do what
You feel me? I did.
You didn't quit.
I didn't. I was about to, but I didn't.
Super
So
senior. I
my
like that.
first senior year, that spring break, I kind of had this like the whole awakening happen. A lot of people in 2012 did.
For sure.
And it's not that I wasn't awake before, because my parents are very spiritually, they're in tune. So I grew up in tune to a degree, but to start understanding certain things for myself, that was happening a lot in 2012. And I came home and I just was like meditating crazy and like doing all kinds of Hindu mantras and learning them and just chanting and just, trying to raise, but didn't really know why I was doing it. It just was what I was inspired to do at that time. And I started hanging out with these kids that also made music and did creative stuff and made beats and made videos and all kinds of stuff. And I just started hanging out with them. And when I tell you, that was like, to meet people that did what I did, but were also spiritual and wanted to put spirituality in their creative work. I never met people like that.
Is this the cat that was in the video for your after party promo? I think he gave you something. You were like, open your eye, something like that.
Yes. Brio.
Right,
Shout out to Brio. Brio is Sky Third Eye. Kurt Collins, Coach Noise, Nigel, Joey, Miles. Everybody know the crew. And that's
you talking about Miles, the sock Miles?
Huh?
Sock Miles?
Miles Harris.
Okay, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Gotcha.
Money go for Miles on Instagram. Gotcha. He's dope. He's a dope producer. But yeah, like that. But the people that I named are not the extent of how many of us it was. And I was new. I was already a senior in college. And some of them was graduating high school. Y'all doing all of this. Y'all been doing this. Y'all mad young. Y'all got mad music. It's fire. And they was giving me the same energy. You know what I'm saying? It felt good to be appreciated and to build something that, spiritual and positive,
And I hear a lot of that influence in your music. I love the skits that you have where you just kind of talk with people. I think that one y'all had me cracking up. He had the line where he was like, it was something hilarious, but you were just like, you were laughing at the line and you were like, that was genius.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The bar is Shawty back it up like she had a clog. I know that's the bar.
dying when you were just like,
I
hold
was
on,
cracking up.
time out. What? Hold on, that is amazing.
Yeah, he went crazy with that one.
It's the
He went
simplest
crazy.
things that just hit the hardest. So, and I've always wondered this when it comes to R&B artists, because I feel like, well, and you just said you clearly were not just an R&B artist, but as a singer, as a singer, I'm just saying that.
Vocalist, yeah.
I feel like everybody expects y'all to have some crazy, extreme, elaborate love life, exaggerate love life, or a really, really shitty one, because you got to have something to write about, right? I feel like everybody just assumes that there's nothing normal. It can't be normal. Either you're Mary J. Blige or you're Beyonce, right? So it's like, where do you kind of find yourself, and has your actual love life ever inspired your music? Because according to Wale, he don't actually be going through half the shit he writes about. He just likes to write a story. So like, is that kind of you, or are you inspired?
Well, I'm inspired by everything that happens in my life. So it's obviously going to be, if anytime there was a love interest, it's going to affect, what I'm going through in my real life is going to affect what I'm writing about or creating, because I'm inspired by what's happening in my life. So, but with that being said, I don't really write. I feel like Demo is moving more into a space of even talking about relationship, like aspect, whether it's what I'm going through or not.
Because you didn't really talk specifically about anybody. You just you talked about yourself. It was honestly, it was all about you, which I could appreciate.
Right.
And it was, I mean, yeah, like you didn't really. It was no like you boy. There was no like
side. It's a side of myself that I don't even tap into. So this is the first time that I'm even talking about myself in that mood. So before that, I kind of, maybe here and there I would make reference to a romantic situation, but my music early on was pretty abstract. Like, you don't know what I'm talking about. Like, it sounds seductive, I guess. It sounds sultry. It's croon, but I'm not talking about nothing. And I did that on purpose. Like, I really wasn't talking about nothing.
It's dope though, because it really just makes you, it really makes you really
your own story.
Huh?
You could give it your own story. That's how
exactly. And it's also like, I feel like some of your stuff even crosses two different genres, because you have songs like Perfect Bounce, which I think I tweeted about that too. I was like, I've never heard a twerking song sound so melodic. Because if you look at it like that, it's a dancing song, but then you can also look at that and put a clean version on Space Jam 3, and it rocked just out like that. You think you're talking about basketball, because you talk about taking it to the house and stuff like that. So I was like, yo, this woman is a genius. I believe Kanye bit you at this point, because you're a genius. But yeah, it's really
I appreciate
dope.
That.
No problem. So bringing it all full circle, if you had an opportunity to get a message out to the whole world, like if it just like a message would come across their phone, what would it say?
If I could send a text message to the whole world,
like a text, or like a notification.
Oh, that's interesting. That would have never crossed my mind if you wouldn't ask.
I was hoping nobody had asked you that before.
Never. MakedaIroquois.com.
I like that. Just promote it. I've heard some amazing things. I've heard some amazing things when I ask people that question, but I really, really love when people just like, if I'm gonna put a message out, I'm gonna put me.
Yeah. Because not only is it the energy of my name, but it's everything that's going on with me that I'm putting out in the world. And my music is there, my interviews are there, my physical demo CDs are there for purchase. So it's kind of like,
do you have
why not send it to the whole world? And how many people are in the world? Imagine how many of those people are going to click it.
Yeah, a lot. It is. I mean, it's gonna be like, yeah. I think that's perfect placement, perfect opportunity to get your shit out there. And I honestly think a lot of people in the world need to hear your music, because I really do believe that you are an extremely talented artist. you are really, I mean, you know, everybody be like, oh, you're going places, but not for real. I really do believe that you're going places. You're
Thank
positioning
you.
yourself. You know, you've been doing a lot of crazy stuff. You just had an interview last night, so I appreciate you
Yeah,
coming on here today,
for
because it's
sure. For
probably
sure.
like, damn, I gotta talk to somebody again. So
Nah, bro. If everybody that know me know I like to talk.
I appreciate you. Like I really do. And like I said, you've been doing your thing. I saw you did an amazing job at the ladies' night, friends only
Thank you.
event with Skinny J.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, you just continuing to grind. So Makeda Iroquois, please let everybody know where they can find you again. I know you just said it, but yeah, please go ahead and put yourself in there again.
MakedaIroquois.com. I know that sounds like a lot, but I don't know. Can they see it if they're watching? They can see it on YouTube, right?
They might be. Oh, if you write it into the comments.
Well, no, just like if they're watching, but I can spell it. It's
I see what you think. Yeah, go ahead.
Makeda. Makeda. That's not hard. Makeda. Iroquois. Iroquois. And that is my name on all social media, on all streaming platforms. You can YouTube, everything. Makeda Iroquois. MakedaIroquois.com.
Got you. Like I said, actually, yeah, they should be able to see it right here.
Okay.
And I would definitely making sure that I will put the link in the description when I get ready to upload this to all podcast streaming platforms. So once again, I really appreciate you coming on to the show. It's really been an amazing time talking to you. And yeah, good luck to you with everything that you have going on. And you know, when I get back to the city, it will hopefully won't be long before I get to see you perform live for real.
Thank you. Hopefully I'll be doing a lot more. I plan to, so you'll definitely have opportunity to catch it.
Already. And thank you for everybody that has tapped in with this episode, Country Fan Mail Podcast. As you already know, we gonna keep it going. I kind of should have a better sign out than that, but it's whatever. But yeah, I appreciate you.
Such a funny thing is this. Keeping me out. How you gon' flee the scene? Said this got the perfect bounce. Let's take it to the house. He said my eyes are hypno, so much so that his heart go. And even though he don't know, I feel concealed intensity. He touched my hand so softly, I blushed and pushed his off me. It's